Most beginners keep doing the same workouts over and over again. They do the same push-ups, the same pull-ups, and the same squats, thinking they'll build muscle and get stronger. But that's not how it works. Here's the thing, if you want to progress at anything in life, you need to keep making things harder over time, right? The same exact thing applies to exercise. If you don't, your body has exactly zero reasons to build muscle and get stronger. That's why in this video, I'll share the 3 steps you need to follow to keep progressing forever and never get stuck again. As always, I'll keep it stupidly simple so you can start implementing right after watching this video and see all the progress you want. You need to understand that if you want to build muscle and get stronger, you need to challenge your body in ways it's not used to yet. Our bodies are excellent at adapting to things. So if you keep doing 100 push-ups every day, your body will adapt to this very quickly and it's not gonna grow anymore. You can't do the same things all the time and expect different results. If you want to build more muscle, you need to force your body to build more muscle. When you go to the gym, it's very straightforward. You do the same exercise, but you just add one more plate. It can be 1 kilogram plate, it can be 2 kilogram plate, it can be 5 kilo or 25 kilo. But it's very simple, you just add more weight over time. When it comes to calisthenics, you need to be a little bit more creative. You need to figure out how to make exercise harder over time without adding more weights. If you don't do this, you will hit plateau. So how do we do that? Have you ever heard about progressive overload? Progressive overload means increasing the difficulty over time. When you go to the gym, you add more weights and you add more reps, or you add more sets. With calisthenics, you also add more weights, but you do this in different way. If at the gym you do a bench press and you add 5 kilograms more next week, then your chest will be pushing 5 kilos more. In calisthenics, if you want your chest to push more weight, you need to use the leverage to find ways that your muscle would push more percentage of your body weight. The easiest to understand example would be a standard push-up and the 1-arm push-up. If you go from 2-arm push-up to a 1-arm push-up, you're naturally, instantly increasing the intensity by like, I don't know, let's say 50%. Or when you do squats, and then you do 1-leg squats. This is one way of increasing the resistance in calisthenics. But fortunately, there are many different calisthenics exercise variations to make sure you make the exercise harder. So now I'll go through the 3 ways to ensure the progressive overload in calisthenics. The first step would be to increase the repetitions. So you start, let's say, with 5 regular push-ups. And then every workout you try to add 1 more repetition. Let's say you're doing 3 sets of 5 push-ups this workout. So the next workout you can do 3 sets of 6 reps. Or if you cannot do like this, then you can just add 1 rep to 1 set. It will still be a little bit of progress, right? You don't have to jump so much. You can also take it a little slower. So you can think of adding 1 rep to every set or just 1 rep in total during the workout. So if you did 3 times 5, it's 15 reps in total. On the next workout you can do 16 reps in total. It will still be progress. Do this until you can reach 12 repetitions. This is what I'm doing at this moment. You can go for 10 or 15 or 8. There is not a magical number. I just like 12 at this moment because in the past I've been training with low repetition ranges, like 4 repetitions to 6 repetitions. But it's really difficult to progress in calisthenics with these repetition ranges if you don't have external weights. So now I do 8 to 12 repetitions. I start my progression with 8 repetitions. So let's say I do regular push-ups for 8 reps. On the next workout I do 9, 10, 11. So when I can do 12 or 15 repetitions for 2 or 3 sets with perfect form, then I go to the next step. And step 2 is to move to the next variation, to the harder variation of the exercise. This is the main driver to long-term progress. If you keep increasing reps all the time, at some point you'll only train endurance. You're not really training strength anymore. You are a little bit, but at some point it will just become cardio training, endurance training. That's why I'm not really going over 15 repetitions anymore, because I'm focusing on strength and muscle building. So then I always pick a harder variation from our exercise library in our community. Here are some examples of progression flows. Let's say I can do 12 perfect incline push-ups, just like this. The next step will be regular push-ups. You go from 8 to 12. Once you can do 3 sets of 12, you go to decline push-ups. They are a little bit harder than the normal push-ups. Once you master the decline push-ups for 12 reps, you go for archer push-ups. These are very hard. They are almost like 1-arm push-ups. You're literally doing a 1-arm push-up with little assistance from the other arm, which is straight. Some good push-up progressions would be, for example, band assisted push-ups. So let's say you start with 25 kilo band. you master it to 12 repetitions, then you go for 15 kilo band, then you go for 5 kilo band, then you go for regular pull-ups, then you can go for L-sit pull-ups, and also archer pull-ups, just like with push-ups. There are so many different cool pull-up variations you can do. When it comes to squats, you can start with the good old regular bodyweight squats. Some people call them air squats. Then you can progress to reverse lunges, for example, Bulgarian split squats, and eventually to pistol squats. When it comes to leg training, calisthenics sucks a little bit because it's very hard to overload it properly. You're basically using almost the same amount of weight for your legs as for your upper body, which is, I guess you can imagine, it's not ideal. If you go to the gym, you don't use the same weight for the bench press as you do for your squats, right? You're using like almost 2 times more. So that's why it's very difficult to overload legs, but you still can build very strong legs with pistol squats. You can also overload them a little bit with some weights. Like for example, here we got this 8-liter water bottles. I can hold this and do squats with that. Why not? But I have a little bit of weights at home, like 40 kilos in total, so I'm covered for quite a long time of pistol squats. It will be hard to do 40 kilo pistol squats. So it's as simple as that. You pick an exercise variation that challenges you at 8 to 12 repetition range, or 6 to 12, whatever is your preferred range, and you keep picking harder exercises over time. If you do this well, you will progress for quite a long time, but you cannot really avoid plateaus at some point. They usually come. So you want to keep repeating the first and second step of progressive overload over time until you hit the plateau. Once you hit some kind of plateau, you can go for the third step of progressive overload. But do this only when you are stuck, because this can make your workouts longer. So when you hit the plateau, just add one more set. So let's say you can do 2 sets of 12 perfect regular pull-ups, and you want to progress to L-sit pull-ups. But these are so hard that you cannot do even 5 of them. What you can do instead, you can just add one more set to this. So you'll do 3 sets of 12 reps, or at least you'll work up to this. Once you work up to 3 sets of 12 reps, you might be able to do a little bit more L-sit pull-ups. You should be able to. And this is already good enough to start using this progression, right? Some people train with 2 sets, some people train with 3 sets. Heck, some people train with 5 sets. I'm using 2 sets just because I want it to be time efficient. So I'm doing 2 sets, but I'm doing this all out, full intensity. If I did 3 sets with this kind of intensity, my reps wouldn't be so high quality anymore anyway. So this is my current approach, but I've been doing different approaches throughout my life. I was doing 2 sets, I was doing 3 sets, I was doing 5 sets, and all of them work. So do what you like the most. And here are some bonus tweaks you can add if you hit a plateau. First of all, slow down the tempo. If you do your reps super fast, just slow them down. This will make them so much harder and so much more effective. This can be also a way of progressive overload. If you can do 3 sets of 12 dips, but they are pretty fast, you can just slow down the reps and you'll not be able to do 12 reps anymore. You'll do 8. So you can keep progressing without adding reps or changing exercises. That's pretty epic if you ask me. I'm using this strategy all the time with every exercise. Another thing you can do is just to pause at the hardest part of the movement. So when it comes to squats, you'll want to pause at the bottom, not at the top. All the time I only see people pausing at the top of the squat, but you're just resting. If you pause at the bottom, you're making it way harder. Here's a fun fact. Your muscles are like this resistance band. If you stretch it, it will come back, right? The same exact thing happens when you're squatting, for example. When you go all the way down and you instantly bounce back, you're getting a lot of boost in strength because your muscles are elastic. That's why fast movements are way harder. So if you slow down, if you add just 1 second of pause at the bottom, damn man, these are free gains. Free gains. Come on, man. Just do this. I know it's painful. It will be painful. Do this. Anyway, this is so good. And one more thing you can do, even if you train calisthenics at home, you can take a backpack and just put some stuff in there, and you can do weighted pull-ups, push-ups, squats, rows, everything. You can do all the exercises. It doesn't have to be weight plates. It can be even this water bottle that I showed you before. It can be anything. In our community, I've seen a guy putting some metal in the backpack. I don't know how many kilos was that, but he had a backpack full of some metal parts. I don't know what was that even. Or I've seen another guy in our community, he was always posting videos when he is squatting with a gas cylinder. like these big gas bottles. I don't know if they still use it in your country. He was literally squatting with a gas bottle like this. So when it comes to calisthenics, imagination is your only limit. So that's your game plan. Now here's how to take it even further. If you want the exact step-by-step progressions for every major exercise like push-ups, pull-ups or squats, and a group of guys keeping you accountable every week, join the Warrior Society. Inside you'll get a custom calisthenics routine that fits your schedule, our full exercise library, the peak performance protocol to boost energy and recovery, and most importantly, personal support from me and other men on the same fitness journey. If that sounds like something for you, there's a link in the description and I'll meet you inside.